Hey everybody, what is going on? My name is Raven, and welcome back. Today, we're going to be talking about the mad Dr. von Cosel. Well, that was the name he went by. His real name was Carl Tanzler. He was born in Germany, and he was a radiology technologist. Okay? And he came to America. And he ended up spending time at the Marine Hospital Service in Key West, Florida, where he ended up helping patients try to fight off tuberculosis, or consumption as it was known as back in the day. Now, he claimed to be a doctor, but he was not a doctor. While there, he met a patient that was named Elena de Hoyos. Now, her real first name was Helen, but she went by Elena. Now, Elena was a very beautiful woman, okay? She was married to a man, and she ended up pregnant by this man. But when she suffered a miscarriage, he left her. Which I think that's a pretty horrible reason to leave somebody, just because of a miscarriage back in the time when a lot of things like that happened. A lot of sickness happened. So he meets her and is determined to cure her of her tuberculosis, or consumption as it was known back then, and marry her. Granted, he was also married. He was married to a woman named Doris, and she was married to the man that actually walked out on her, but they never got divorced. No one was separated, okay? Now, he thought that she was the woman of his dreams, based on a dream he has had with his aunt, who was a countess, said that a dark-haired beauty will be your wife in the future, and showed basically the face of the now Elena. Now, Elena, little backstory, she has two sisters named Florinda, aka Nana, who is married to Mario, and now Florinda, or Nana, also succumbed to tuberculosis. And Celia, I'm not sure, I'm sorry, is another one of her sisters. And it is said that she did not actually end up with tuberculosis, just Elena and Nana, her other sister. Now, this is where things get a little hairy, because this doctor ended up obsessed with Elena. Like, he was determined to cure her, make her his wife, and basically go off into the sunset and have a beautiful rest of life together. So he tried the best that he could to cure her, which is great. But he weighed on her hand and foot. He was making advances toward her, and she said, no, I'm not gonna be with you. But she kind of let him spoil her, basically. And a little backtrack, I did actually find her husband. His name was Luis Mesa. Okay? That is the one that she was married to. That is the one where she got pregnant with and suffered the miscarriage. He then moved to Miami after that. So they were legally married. Okay? Back to where we were at. So this doctor, he was very obsessed with her. Tried to do everything that he could to cure her of tuberculosis, or aka consumption. And despite all of his best efforts, she did eventually die of her diagnosis, consumption, aka tuberculosis. And everyone was just heartbroken. She was known as the local beauty of the Key West. Okay? So this doctor ended up going to the family and saying, let me pay for the funeral. Let me pay for her casket. Let me pay for the mausoleum for her to be put to rest in. And the family agreed to it all because they were very proud. Okay? That's just how they were. They don't accept money unless it was for a good cause, basically. This is also where things get a little hairy. So there is a phone that they put on the inside and the outside of the mausoleum that she was put at rest in. And it was so that you could call from the outside of the mausoleum into the inside of the mausoleum and talk to her. I found that to be kind of interesting. But this is where things get even worse. He would visit her every single night. At around midnight, he would go to her mausoleum. He would kind of break in there. He would talk to her. He would, all these things. Because, well, I didn't mention this when they put her to rest. He tried so very hard to make sure that she stayed the beauty that she was while living. So he kind of filled her casket with like formaldehyde and other chemicals to preserve her beauty. Which in a way I do understand, because you want to preserve someone's beauty for all eternity. But at the same time, she's no longer there. When you pass away, your body is just an empty shell of who you were before. Which is why a lot of times when you go to a funeral, the dead person does not really look the same as when they were alive. 2 years after Elena's death from consumption, the doctor, or Tanzler is his real last name, he snuck like a wagon into the mausoleum and removed her body from her resting place. Quite disturbing to think about, don't you think? But it only gets worse from here. Okay, so he used piano wire to keep her bones together where they should be. Okay, that is horrible. Okay, now it gets even worse. So parts of her skin would start to fall off due to the decomposition. So what he did is he would soak silk cloth and wax and plaster and put her face back to how it should look. And then he also made like a death mask out of this reconstructed face for her. He also made sure that the eyes inside were glass eyes so they would stay permanent, and he wouldn't have to take care of like keeping the eyes, watered or anything like that. Her hair started to fall out due to the decomposition, so he decided to make a wig from her real hair that he got from Elena's mother. Now, this is where things get even worse than this, okay? So not only did he do all this to her body, he also made sure that she constantly wore like gloves, stockings, jewelry. He kept her in his bed most of the time, but he would take her out on midnight boat rides, as like on dates, if you will, quote unquote dates, okay? But teenagers, being what they are, like to sneak out in the middle of the night and kind of walk around, kind of do whatever teenagers do, okay? And one night, they snuck up to where they were living at, and by they, I mean poor Elena's body and the mad doctor, and found him dancing with her a couple nights, and one night they just saw Elena's poor corpse just sitting there. And, teenagers would always look around and be like, what is that? Because it didn't look real because of all the work he had to do to keep her kind of looking as she was while she was alive. Now, one other thing I did forget to mention, which I'm going to mention right now, is that when a body starts decomposition, a bad odor kind of comes out of the body. So he covered that up with perfume, disinfectants, and preserving agents to hide the smell of decomposition. Now he would tell his friends that he has a girlfriend and she agreed to marry him. But again, remember you guys, Elena is passed away. Elena is just a corpse now. So he is saying all these things about a corpse. Now they don't know for sure if it's true or not, but they did say that not only did he marry her, but he consummated the marriage. Which, if you consummate anything with a dead body, especially a marriage, which back in that time, consummated marriage is you have intercourse with the person, but doing that with a corpse is called necrophiliac. It is where you have sex with dead bodies. Very disturbing. I'm not going to get into all the details about it, but so, in October of 1940, Elena's sister, aka Nana, as you remember, her first name was Florinda, heard rumors of Tanzler sleeping with the disinterred body of her sister. And that, things were happening with her poor sister's body. So she went to his home and confronted him and said, hey, what is going on? Why am I hearing rumors about you having my sister's dead body? and that people caught you dancing with my sister's body in front of an open window. He confirmed it all to her sister. So she called the local authorities, and he was arrested. Now, they wanted to run psychiatric examinations to make sure that he was mentally fit for trial. They deemed that he was very much mentally content. So they did the trial for his charge, which was basically maliciously destroying a grave and removing a body without authorization. That was his crime. October 1940, he had the preliminary hearing at the Monroe Courthouse in the Key West. He was held to answer on the charge, but get this, the case was eventually dropped. And it's only because the statute of limitations of the crime had expired. So Elena's poor body was examined by physicians and pathologists, was put on a display for like a wake again at a Dean Lopez funeral home. It was viewed by almost 7,000 people, 6,800 people to be the rough estimate, basically. So she was returned to Key West Cemetery, where she was originally buried to begin with, but she was buried in an unmarked grave. Because at the end of the trial, Dr. Crazy Pants had decided to ask if he could have her body back. And the judge said, no. You're not getting her back. He wanted her back even after the trial. Oh my God. What? Why? Okay? Why? And keep in mind, he's still married. Okay? So he got arrested for this crime. He may or may not have done necrophilia stuff on her body while he's still married. Now, they are unsure about if that is true, and it is unsure as to whether or not they put a tube inside that part, if you catch my drift, to allow for intercourse. So, I'm not going to get into all the details about that. There's no proof either way as to if that was true or not. It never came up in the trial, but it did come up multiple times, and they made an autopsy program in 1999 where that claim was brought up. So, I don't know if it's true. You guys will have to tell me if you guys heard for sure or not. Either way, this is a disgusting case. Okay? So after the trial happened, he went back to his wife who accepted him. What in the world is happening right now? If your husband was deemed arrested for horrible crimes, why would you take him back? Anyway, so she took him back. They did have a couple kids together. I did not get the kids' names or anything. So you guys have to tell me if you know in the comment section down below. Now they put her in an unmarked grave, poor Elena, to keep Carl Tanzler, aka the doctor, away from him. But not knowing that he still had that death mask he created, he made a life-size effigy of Elena. Why? Oh my God. Are you that obsessed with someone that you are going to make a recreation of her dead body? Oh my God. What is happening right now, you guys? Now, there are two different things that happen. So, we don't know which one the truth is. It is about the way Tanzler died. Now, there are two different descriptions of this. One is he died while cuddling the effigy of Elena. But in his obituary, it is reported that he died on the floor behind one of his organs. So, we don't know what the truth is. Now, maybe it was actually the one. Maybe it was both. Who knows? What do you guys think? It is also said that there was a metal cylinder on a shelf above a table, and it was wrapped in silken cloth and a robe with a waxen image. What does that mean? I think we all know what it might mean, but is that what it is? You guys, I can't today. This is just driving me crazy, okay? Now, her grave is still unmarked to this day. It is said that there is a rough estimate as to where she is specifically in that cemetery. Other YouTubers have actually kind of said that this is about the area that they think she was, due to someone basically looking at the archives and saying this is about where she should be. I don't know if that is true, okay? We don't know where she is. But once he died, I think they should have put a marker on her grave, because the obsession was over when he died. But to keep her safe from any other person trying to do that same thing, she is still unmarked to this day. Which, probably a good thing for her. But they did put a little like memorial plaque somewhere in that cemetery for her. Or around that cemetery, there's actually like a history museum for her that you can go to in that area. Okay, so you could go see a plaque basically for her, to keep her real death rest place a secret. Now, before I finish the video today, I want to add one more thing. It is said that she died from the disease. But in a book he wrote, and I mean him as in Tanzler, aka Crazy Doctor, who said that he gave her a mixture of wolfsbane, which was, diluted out with some other poisons and things to help her die peacefully. Okay? And it said that, he said, "Suffer no more, my sweet Elena. I have sent you to the angels with my golden elixir." It is also said that he said he would kill Elena if necessary to fulfill his destiny of marrying her, and other things that go along with marriage. So that's always interesting. Also, keep in mind that Ripley's Believe It or Not Museum in Key West, Florida has an exhibit recreating Elena's body being cared for by Tanzler. So if you guys do want to take a look at that, make sure you do so. Also, keep in mind to go to another museum that shows like her final resting plaque, and go to that cemetery and see if you can see about where she might be. I'm gonna try to find it, and if I do find a similar image as to where they think in the video here, but if not, I'm just gonna put the cemetery and her mausoleum, things like that. This is one of my longer videos, but I do hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to hit the like button before you go, and also if you're not subscribed yet, please be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you are notified every single time I upload, which is almost every single day of the week. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!